So what we are here to do is to really talk about how do we make things better in our business world right now, in our world. And one of the things that is very obvious is that the world is going far more digital, far more technological, and it really is virtual or vanish. If we don't move our businesses into the virtual world, into the digital world, it is likely that the recovery that we will individually experience and collectively experience will be very, very challenging. So I've been in the change business for a long time, often say I'm just an old change guy wearing a digital cloak. And as you can see, my digital cloak didn't work very well this morning, so it obviously is not hiding my digital incompetence. But along the way, I met Manish and his team and was completely inspired. They are doing transformational work. It's really clear that COVID-19 has changed the world. If we're all honest, we really don't know how. We know how it feels now. We know what we're seeing now. We know the experience of now, but we don't know what it's going to look like in the future. And as you can see, these points that Manish is putting up, it's shrinking the world economy and it's accelerating change. And it is also, as you can see in the next image, we've all seen these shelves. And that is something we've never experienced before. And we want our lives back. We really want to be safe. We want to work and let work give ourselves the meaning that it does, including providing for ourselves and our families' needs. So the real question is, how do we stay safe, stay healthy, and prosper in this new world order? And we think that there are real good answers to those questions. And we hope you'll think so too by the end of the presentation. Next slide, please. So what are we here for? What's our purpose? We're to help you move in your mind as well as in your business from crisis to growth. And that is what I think it's possible to thrive. We can thrive now. Many companies are, many people are, and many are not. So we need new ways to succeed at business and life, and they're required, and they have had rocket fuel poured on them by this disruption by COVID-19. And yet, I was totally moved by the graduation 2020 that was put on by the incredible resilience of the young people in our lives, the incredible talent, the incredible innovation that we are seeing every day. And it's really powerful. And think for a moment about some of the things that you've seen, not the challenges and the problems of this new pandemic-driven world, but some of the inspirations that you've seen, some of the innovations that you've seen, some of the relationships that you've seen that have changed. In my neighborhood, where we never see people on the street, it's been thrilling to watch 3-year-olds learn how to ride their two-wheelers, taught by their fathers every day. And that just wouldn't be possible in that old world order. So many of my clients are still working from home, even though they're available to go back to their businesses. They're all making the decisions that, you know what, this virtual works. So we're going to try to help you understand how to move from crisis to growth and make this new virtual world work for you, your team, your business, your family. So why did we have Wrecking Ball? This is why we had Wrecking Ball. Manish found this cartoon. How perfect is it? Digital transformation. The stat is that 85% of companies believe that it's necessary. Only 15% prior to COVID had a plan. So who is the biggest? If we go to the next click, what this brings up is a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. That's where we are. Now, this is a concept, this VUCA, is a concept that actually technology and digital transformation brought to the fore about 5 years ago. And it's something that is very much driven in the past by technology. And what do we mean by volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous? Well, the real key here is think about this. Who do you think the largest seller of room nights in the world is? Marriott? Hilton? Actually, more than Marriott and Hilton combined, it's Airbnb. That was a massive disruption. So as an example of a real big change in the world that made hotel industry volatile, uncertain, and complex is Airbnb. So the biggest key that we're all going to have to do is embrace change. And you're going to have to let go. And I'm about to make $5 because Manish said I'd never do this. But Black Sabbath song, I'm going through changes. You really have to embrace the change. You have to recognize what change brings. And change brings many things. Mostly, to most of us, it brings fear. And we know this biologically, psychologically, and emotionally. So how do we let go? The first thing is to realize that nothing is forever. This is a big wake-up call that upward mobile and economic growth doesn't last forever, nor do the ways we do business last forever. We need to remember that. Next, please. Reevaluate. This is an opportunity for all of us, and we're seeing people do it. What's important? What's valuable to me? What do I really care about? I guarantee you most of those fathers will remember teaching their kids to ride a bike. And what's valuable to us in our business? What is it that we do that truly adds value is really important. Reconnect, we're all doing it with distant friends and family. It was striking to me, Easter and Passover, people got together on Zoom that they wouldn't have done any other way because it would have been so much more insular as we always are, but this is the value of it. Next, please. Restore. This is a great time. Take that time to do that inner work, to restore your faith, your body, your mind, and most importantly, your energy. This is a draining time when we don't know what to do, when we're worried, when we're challenged. It drains our energy, all of our energy, spirit, physical, and emotional. Rethink how you do your jobs, you run your business, you market, and you sell your products. Manish is going to give you a great presentation on some opportunities just using tech. But things are going to move on, and if you try to hold on to the old, it's not going to work. You'll have more pain. Revive, put life in. You can inject new business, new energy into your life and into your business. It's a very wonderful time to do that rethinking because everybody is. So you get to do it in a time when it's not a challenge to not be doing your day job and your daily work. You get to look at it and say, how can I do this differently? How can I inject life into my business? And then repurpose. What is that new purpose? And I'm going to talk a little bit about purpose in the support slide. How do you have new purpose, new meaning, new why for yourself, for your teams, your business? Click, please. So, and the most important thing, if you walk away with nothing else, one more, please. If you walk away with nothing else, commit. Without commitment, you can have all the greatest plans in the world, all the greatest ideas in the world. But if you don't commit to them, if you don't really take action based on that commitment, there's nothing. You'll have nothing. You'll just have a bunch of great ideas. So here's a roadmap that we suggest for managing the situation. Number one is believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who will? You have to come from that confidence. Confidence is so contagious. If you need help in believing in yourself, talk to somebody that believes in you, and you may even want to seek out a coach or someone who's professional in giving you support. Embrace change. The pain is in the resistance, and what you resist persists. So the more you can embrace change, put your arms around it, really understand that it's coming is really a huge key to the success. One of the reasons that Manish and I joined up is because all his great technology and digital and e-commerce doesn't mean the whole organization will embrace change. And his greatness in what they do and how they help companies change, facilitated by really getting the teams aligned and embracing that change, is where the magic is. Start with why. Simon Sinek, we'll send you links for him. why matters most. People respond to your why, not your what. They respond, your what needs to be well done, but people have to connect with your purpose, how you do it, and then what you do. If you start with what, people don't get motivated and inspired. And we need inspiration in our lives and in our businesses now. And lastly, do your job, no matter what. Whatever that job is, if your job is to help and make the house work with the kids at home learning, do it. If your job is to research what's available, do it. If your job, whatever your job is, and you know your job, do your job, and don't let the fear of change and not believing in yourself stop you from doing your job. Next click, please. And seek help and support. You don't have to do it alone. One of my favorite pictures that we put up in some of our presentations is a picture of a golfer and saying he doesn't need a team. Look, he plays by himself. And then we show the people, all the people around the pro golfer that has 20 people around him, his coaches, his team, everyone who helps him be successful. So even if you're a solopreneur or you're running a large business, get help and support. There is no shame in it. In fact, to really be an aligned and powerful team, you need to be willing to ask for help. So it's not a weakness, it's actually a strength. Next. So this is where I turn it over to the true digital guru who knows how to do this stuff incredibly well, unlike me. And our partnership model, if you just put that up and I'll turn it over to you, Manish, we together partner with businesses to dream. What can you be to deliver that dream and then continuously elevate their results through technology and people and the alignment of the two. And with that, Manish, over to you.
All right, thank you, Stephen. So we basically wanted today to share with you, I think everyone has comprehended the gravity of the situation. Everyone has reacted. We're probably about 8 weeks into this now, and people have plans. People have gone and figured out things to do. So we wanted to give you our perspective on how to really go after and grow your business, how to take market share, how to be a leader. Change is one of those things that once you embrace it, it becomes a catalyst for growth. And so the first thing, we have a three-pronged strategy here: review, align, and attack. The first thing you want to do is just evaluate the landscape. Don't rush into anything right away. There's a lot of companies that right when the pandemic and the stay-at-home orders hit, they immediately made some changes. They thought they were being proactive. Some of our customers had to recall those changes pretty quickly. So take a look around. Don't rush into anything. Be systematic in your approach. Look at the competition and see what's going on. We're not advocating being slow to attack, but be cautious and kind of be in the evaluation space of what you want to do. So look at the competitors. Ask the questions that are meaningful. As Stephen mentioned, start with why. What is the long-term value of what you're going to be doing as a business, and figure out what you can do now to continue to deliver that long-term value. The truth is, we say we've never seen this, but as a world, we have seen this, right? It happened in the United States in 1918. There's been waves of plagues that have happened for eon, and the world has seen this. There is a history here. There are survival capabilities that we all have built into ourselves, and what we want to do is think long term and really preach the thinking of long term. So once you've kind of figured out where you stand in the landscape, whether you're down in revenue, whether profitability is cut, or employees are unproductive, figure out how to align yourself to where things are going. The Wayne Gretzky phrase of he skates to where the puck is going, not where the puck has been or is at the moment, right? So where is the market going? If you're servicing restaurants, I actually spoke to somebody who is in the restaurant services business. He said times have never been busier. The proactive restaurants are cleaning their hoods, they're redoing their tables, they're buying new equipment in preparation for when the market reopens and restaurants are at full capacity and diners come back with a vengeance, right? So think through what new products and services you could be in. We work with a large retailer that is a fashion retailer, and guess what? They're making masks with prints to match the sequin tops that they sell, right? So figure out what the new products and services are that you can offer, and once you've got those in place, you're ready to go out and make an impact in the world. So the key to alignment is not just thinking through alignment from your own headspace, but get your senior leadership team in a room. Take time now when you may be less busy. You may not be, but if you have the time now, if you take the time now, get your senior leadership in, get the organization aligned, understand what your financial measures are going to be, understand what the change impact that's out there could be, and we always advocate there's a worst case scenario, there's a best case scenario. Almost more than likely you're going to be in between those two, right? And so figure out what that middle of the road is, and then once you've got that alignment within your senior team, figure out what the approach is to go to market. We're big advocates with all the change that's going on right now. Digital is a place that you should be investing no matter what. Whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're a retail location, whether you're a restaurant, it doesn't matter. If you've seen what happened to restaurants, the restaurants that got into Uber Eats and Grubhub and delivery dudes early, they took share during the last 8 weeks. If you look at Walmart, who released their earnings reports this morning, they're up almost triple digits in e-commerce. They've been investing in e-commerce for 10 plus years. Right now is a perfect time to think about a new paradigm. We're working with B2B based tile manufacturers that are now saying we could go online and sell our excess inventory straight to consumers who might be looking for repairs in their home since they're cooped up. So there's new ways that you can experience growth, and people who have looked for new outlets, not just this is the way we've always done it, this is the way we're going to continue to do it. Those types of businesses are the ones that unfortunately you're going to see some of that vanish popping up. So think through new paradigms. And one of the things that we love to do, both Steve and I, is have brainstorming conversations, right? If you get different perspectives from different people and understand who might be in an adjacent industry and see what they're doing, you now can form new perspectives. You can kind of figure out how to build new business during this time. And really one of the old adages that sales cures a lot of business ills is absolutely true in this day, right? If you can figure out how to attack and build new business through the sales process, whether it's as a restaurant shifting to takeout or as a manufacturer shifting to direct to consumer, these are the opportunities that you've got to attack and grow your business. Okay, so just an overview of things that we do together that we feel like, whether it's us or whether it's people like parties like us, it's important at this moment, especially for a leader or CEO of a company, to think through the vision. I spent a lot of times in my past life prior to COVID-19 on planes. I used the downtime on planes to journal and write. And in that writing, a lot of it was, where did I see things going over the next 60, 90, 180 days? And it's important that you have some semblance of continuing to do that, even though your day-to-day life may have been disrupted. So think through how to document the vision, alignment. As Stephen mentioned, having a coach or somebody to give you outside perspective is always a great thing. Teams that are remote need different ways of management, and there are great guides or fantastic workbooks on how to build culture effectively for remote teams. Put some of those key principles in place, even if it's temporary. Look at technology, look at the different services that are out there. We provide obviously a breadth of technology services to our customers and our business partners, but think through what the roadmap should look like. What are the things you can do with tech short term? We're in an API economy. You can buy software that does lots of different things and integrate different pieces of software together. Um, Also look at the talent model, and this is something that we've seen a lot of. A lot of companies did have layoffs, unfortunately, but there's still not an abundance of talent on the marketplace at the moment, especially for highly skilled positions. The people that we've seen that may have been displaced have been picked back up pretty quickly. Talent is still at a premium, especially in uh, the forward-thinking spaces in digital, advanced marketing, places to grow your business. There's still a premium on talent. So think through how you can grab some of that talent at this moment. Some other things that we would offer to help anybody that is interested with the online and in-store experience. There's a new paradigm that you can do appointment setting. You can have virtual assistants and things like that. Think through. This is something that we've seen a lot of people with websites. People are ready to buy. People have been cooped up. People are ready to purchase. We've seen our conversion rates for most sites that we work with increase, skyrocket, more than double. People are coming with an intent to purchase. And think through the consumer spending, which is the backbone of the United States economy. People are shifting dollars. People aren't spending on airplanes. They aren't spending on cruises, but they're spending on home furnishings. They're spending on food supply. So there's different shifts in the spending habits. And as a business, position yourself to take advantage of those. Then finally, we offer custom development solutions for our customers where if you have a great idea for a mobile app, or if you have a great idea for a new website or even a new business that may not necessarily reflect your existing business, but a new idea, there's a lot of opportunity right now to take advantage of the labor market and the capacity that's out there to get that idea funded, developed, and brought to market.
Manish, before you move on, could you explain what an API economy is, what API is?
Sure, absolutely. So as software has changed, it used to be you had to build your own software from scratch and everything was a multi-year project. What's happened now is, if think about a Salesforce.com. If you want to buy a CRM, you just license Salesforce.com, you plug in your credit card, and you're up and running. Then if you want to connect Salesforce into your, say, HubSpot website inbound marketing solution, you just make a connector between the two. So an API is very much just a connection between systems, and every modern system has APIs. And what that does is it gives you the ability to connect between systems, buy a component. If you don't like it, if you outgrow it, you swap it out, and it's like changing the tires in your car. You just move on to the next brand, the next set, and you plug and play, and off you go. Okay, so some things that we offer to our customers. We're heavily oriented in e-commerce. We believe anybody that's selling a product or service should have some web-based and mobile-based experience. And we also would advocate that it should be the most phenomenal customer experience you can have. We all have smartphones. We all use Google on those smartphones. We use Siri. People are being found on the web. People want to be found on the web. And if you're not out there, if you don't have your business represented on Google, if you don't have a product assortment, a catalog of what you're selling online, nobody is necessarily looking to walk into a store, especially during these times. Online is where to be. Mobile solutions, the smartphone usage holds true there. Everybody's looking for new mobile solutions. Everybody's looking for new ways to engage. Not necessarily an app, but maybe a better mobile website. Things like appointment setting, as I mentioned before. If you are in a physical location, take advantage of tools that are out there that'll easily help you re-engage your audience. We work with a large furniture retail chain out on the West Coast of the United States, and they basically were shut down. And California is still very much in a greater shutdown mode than Florida is, and they were just gonna stay shut. What we did was we changed their website. We took over the homepage. We said, set an appointment. The general manager will be there with a mask, gloves. We'll take your call if you want. And all of a sudden, you saw demand of each appointment slot was getting booked, and on a regular basis, people were ready. A large part of it were looking for service. They were looking for some sort of repair or some sort of return. But what it did was it got those out of the system. It gave a higher sense of customer satisfaction. And let's just say 20% were looking for service and returns. The other 80% were looking to buy, and they came in as motivated shoppers. So what happened uh, in every case that we've used tools like appointment setting, we've been able to reclaim revenues that would have just been lost had the retailer been shut. Um, Obviously, e-commerce was the only place that they had going for them at the moment. Finally, social media and digital marketing. Um, a lot of people that are stuck at home, and you'll see, I believe, as Facebook reports earnings and some of the other social media players report earnings, Google comes out, you'll see the usage just through the roof. People are stuck at home. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on LinkedIn. They're looking and consuming content. And this is the time for your brand to be out there. And it's not just posting cute cat pictures anymore, right? That's not what social media is all about. It's about truly authentically representing your brand. It's about having influencers. If you're selling widgets, having somebody who's used a widget provide a testimonial. And we're not talking about getting the Kardashians out there. You don't want to go after that type of strategy, but you want to get, if you're selling home repair equipment, get somebody who has used this that might be a handyman and representing themselves on social media with a following of 2,000 or 3,000 people. And all of a sudden, you're going to sell a lot more widgets, and there's a virality to it. So take advantage of these tools that are out there while people are stuck at home and using their computers, their mobile devices, and really move your business forward with some of these solutions. Okay, so one of the interesting things that the market overall, when this all first started, I think in mid-March or early to mid-March, Goldman Sachs predicted a V-shaped recovery. And what that meant was we would have a 6 to 8 week shelter in place, and then business would just come back to normal. Well, if you ventured out, business is not just coming back to normal. People are out there with masks. People are afraid to venture out. There's certainly not anywhere near the capacity in restaurants. Bars are still not open. Casinos are not open, though it sounds like they're opening soon. Gyms just opened back up this week, but with limited capacity. The capacity is going to be severely limited until there's some sort of major event or the social impact of this, just people just accept the potential impact of this. That's a long recovery. It might be as long as 2 or 3 years. And so if you think about how your business should react, if you have a storefront, if you're a manufacturer, and you need to have your employees coming into the workplace, you've got to react with a long-term plan. And Stephen pointed out on one of his first slides, the change is here to stay, right? Twitter just announced that employees basically are indefinitely working from home, and this change is not something there's no going back to normal, right? Normal is a new normal. And what we advocate is think about the low touch economy, meaning you aren't seeing a high engaged amount of people that are going to be on their mobile phones and things like that. It's here for the long haul. So what is a high touch economy? A high touch has a face to face. You walk into a retail establishment and there's a salesperson. They're having a conversation with you. If you're a car dealer, you're having a buying or haggling process that comes into place. Well, where we're going to be is low touch. People are making a phone call from home or sending a text message from home. They're going online to your website first. They're not looking to engage with a customer service associate in the store. They're going through your website and filling out, what Amazon has done for us. You never talk to a human. And they're also going to be shopping in a new way. And this is where we really advocate the next level of commerce is going to be. It's personalization. And Amazon and Target and Walmart, they know more about you from the data than anyone really wants to know, right? And so what we as consumers have come to expect is you get the email from Amazon that says, hey, you were looking at this thing 2 weeks ago. Are you ready to purchase? And by the way, these are also supplemental items to the widget that you were looking at. And we've come to expect personalized recommendations. We want to have virtual shopping that shows up in our inbox at 7 a.m. and we can tap, and we're done. And that's where, as a business, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a manufacturer that's looking to sell direct to consumer, or whether you're really in the service business, people are looking to book appointments, people are looking to engage with you. They're not looking for, let me come in to the facility you got and have a conversation with you. Some people would prefer that, and that's not going away, but it's the mix is here to stay. So some services that we've actually pivoted to and we've begun offering our customers. We were actually working on a lot of these services over the last 3 years, and what's happened in the last 8 weeks is we've seen a drastic acceleration in adoption and implementation of these services. But how do you use your website to set appointments? How do you use your website to engage and offer product recommendations? Think about possibly trying to sell a computer online or an electronic online. You want to ask the questions. What type of computer do you need? Are you an advanced pro or are you a beginner? Do you need a big screen? You want to ask and guide these things that you would normally see if you walked into Best Buy and you'd ask an associate. You want to replicate that experience through tools like live chat, through screen sharing. People are more used to Zoom than ever. And the exploration of your business and new ideas is the key here. There's no one size fits all here. We're all in this in a new way, a new paradigm together. We're not in isolated pockets. In a normal recession or economic recovery, you have pockets of business that are affected. Pretty much everybody universally has been affected, and it's a scramble for alignment and attacking new styles of business with things like low touch services. Okay, so Stephen, you wanna walk through this slide?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, Manish. So as you can see, there are lots of solutions that we can provide that you can provide and get yourself, because it is such an open technology in the world today. And wherever you go, it is going to take a system, a process, and steps and iteration. And what we believe very strongly here is that the first thing you have to do, and Manish touched on it so well, is to really pay attention to understanding, uncover those desired outcomes. Have a vision. Where do you want to be? This is an opportunity to truly dream. Where do you want to be at the end of this journey? And the truth is, there is no end to the journey. It's an ongoing journey. So where do you want to be in your embracing of change and your consistent reiteration? One of the things that digital transformation has done as a technology, as a way of working, is to accept that it's going to be do it quickly, try, fail, learn, get up and try again. Now that happens in the digital world extraordinarily quickly. But all of us need to embrace that there is no straight path to success. There's always going to be ups and downs. So when you do have that vision and those desired outcomes, again, add to that your goals. They need to be measurable and quantifiable, or it's not going to mean anything. And I will always come back to purpose. Know your why. It's the difference between somebody who is just doing their job because they're getting a paycheck, or someone who is absolutely passionately involved. And passion is what really creates a lot of success. So where we are aligned with our work, Peak and Third Level, is that this is really to determine, if you're a larger company or even a smaller group, how ready is your organization for this change? Because we can have all the greatest ideas and the greatest plans in the world and the greatest technology in the world, and with Peak, the greatest consultants in the world. If your team doesn't embrace it, truly doesn't embrace it and resists it, whether they're open about resisting it or not, you're not going to be successful. So that next step is about empathizing and aligning. And we're very lucky to work with a number of great leaders in thought leadership. Two of them happen to be on the call, so George and Stan Labovitz, who are absolutely expert in understanding and helping us help people deal with and create alignment, to measure that alignment. How well aligned are you and your organization into what you want to do and what it's going to take to do it? So we need to engage the teams, give them an opportunity to feel like they're doing it with, not to, and also to really understand who the key stakeholders are. Often, this transformation work is thought of as being put over here on the side. Go build me a new website. Go give me an e-commerce solution. Go give me some digital magic that's fairy dust that's going to change my business. And then we'll tell the rest of the company what we're doing. It doesn't work that way. As Manish will tell you, the most important thing is to understand the entire organization and the entire process, how you work. And this is really important even for individuals who are trying to transform their business. How do you work and whose help do you need and how do you align that help? As Manish mentioned before, understand the competitive landscape and align that digital strategy. And there is no question, I have to pivot my business. My business is now really all about digital transformation, the change in the world. How do we make that work? And that is something we all need to think about. How do we bring digital into our lives, into our world? And then the most important part of that, from our point of view, is how do you do it empathetically? How do you do it understanding, first and foremost, your customer? Because if you don't understand your customer, you're going to build the prettiest thing in the world that the customer isn't going to care about. And as my coach says, and interestingly, Manish quoted, his words are, sales solves all problems. We need sales to continue to thrive. So the customer is king. How do we engage with that customer? Who is that customer? How are they feeling? What do they want? What are their fears and doubts? How do we help them through that? How do we help them have an easy time of it? And we've all had experiences where we want to throw our computers, like me this morning, but we want to throw our computers in the water because of a digital experience, trying to buy something or change something online. But that same thing, that same concept of empathy, that same concept of understanding your customer is understand your colleague, understand your organization. What does this change mean to your organization? And your organization is not this cold, hard, two-dimensional thing on a spreadsheet or on an org chart. Your organization is people, and how people work together, and how they work together well, and hopefully beyond well, passionately, and really creating stunning results. That's where it's incredibly important to recognize. At the bank, when we did a lot of work, and I'm free to speak about it, over at Lloyd's, when they first went digital about 10 years ago, they said, okay, we're really going to create a digital bank. And they have created Europe's largest digital bank, separate and apart from their own bank. One of the things that the battle was mortgages was saying, I know mortgages, I'll tell you what it should look like. And digital was saying, we know digital, we'll tell you what it's supposed to look like. And that's a typical kind of conversation that you'll have when you think about things, the way we've done it, the way we want to do it. And you have to bring people along. And the way to do that is to engage them, let them be heard. You will learn, you will understand, and you'll be able to respond appropriately and shorten the time and pain of this change. Change brings fear. We know this biologically, we know it emotionally, and we know it business-wise. So understanding those fears, understanding those doubts, a very small part of the population says, oh boy, something gets to change. Most of us say, oh no, something's changing, what do I do? And that's actually right now a big part of what's going on in our world. some would say even bigger than the risk of the COVID virus, is the emotional depression and challenges that people are going through loss of job, through those challenges. You can offer solutions. People can be retrained. People can work well in this new world. It will take time, but it can happen. In your businesses, you can control it by really doing some of these things we've talked about. Empathy matters. Understanding each other matters. It's a soft skill, but it's the key to success in almost every relationship and every business and business transaction. Fire on, Manish.
So one thing I'd like to add, Stephen, before we get to the question and answer
We're going to go through
session.
the rest of the chart.
Okay. If you think about an organization, it's really a network of conversations. Is one of my phrases, right? It's not a two-dimensional org chart on the screen, but it is a series of conversations. And this word digital is something that people fear a lot. Like, oh, we don't need to be digital, or we don't understand digital, therefore we want to avoid it. But if you think about your everyday use of technology, from your smartphone to your television, you're consuming digital media, you're working on your smartphone and consuming digital content. And one thing we're almost advocates of saying, digital transformation is not even a thing, it's just transformation, right? And I'm one of those crazy people who I love change, because change brings growth, and you have the opportunity that you may not have had before, where things were status quo. The economy was good. There were record levels of unemployment, or of employment rather, and you just had business going the way it was. And quite honestly, our business over the last 8 to 10 weeks, we've had more senior level conversations. We've had more conversations with people who are interested in new ways of doing business than we ever have had in our existence of the last 4 years. And it's really interesting to see, when you separate the wheat from the chaff here, right, at this moment, where you're seeing the business leaders who are looking at change as an opportunity, and you're seeing the business leaders who are looking at change with uncertainty and doubt. And my challenge would be, if you're listening to this session here, try to be that business leader that sees change as the opportunity, because it is. The businesses that we work with, we have 40 plus customers in all verticals and industries. The ones that are embracing the change are the ones that are thriving, and they're creating new opportunities. If you're in a B2B oriented business, now is your opportunity to talk to more CEOs and decision makers than you've ever had before, because we're all cooped up at home on Zoom looking for something to do. There's no movie theaters that we can go to. There's no bowling alleys. There's no restaurants that we're going out to dinner with our spouse or significant other right now. And so right now is your moment in time that you can seize that change and embrace it, and be able to grow your business and make something happen. From a digital standpoint, on the dream, deliver, and elevate, just kind of build upon what Stephen said. It's not the technology is should always fade to the background. It's not your thing that you want to worry about. It's really understanding who's doing what. If you're delivery dudes, and then Uber Eats is coming out with a national audience, you've got to figure out how you can scale faster. And if you're a restaurant and the guy next door to you is seeing 10 times the amount of traffic because they've enabled themselves on Google and every app, while you're just sitting there answering phones and taking paper pad orders, you're missing out on the opportunities of your business. Now, some businesses may not want to grow. We understand that, but I don't think any business intentionally wants to vanish. And that's where, don't let technology be a barrier to you. There's lots of smart people that understand really complex technology, but the truth is technology has become much simpler over the past 15 to 20 years. You used to have to go and reformat and restart your computer. There's all kinds of things that you had to do before. You don't have to do a lot of those things anymore. You take it for granted that your smartphone 95 to 99% of the time, you tap the screen and it turns on and it do what you want, right? It's become more reliable. The barriers have become much lower, and there's a lot of smart people that are out there to help you. Unfortunately, with tech and digital, there's a lot of ways to do it wrong. You don't just build a website and hope they come. You don't just build a mobile app and expect to make millions of dollars, right? You've got to really break through the noise. You've got to have the right totality of offering, and the roadmap that we've laid out here. Understand the competition, identify and design your solution for you and your customer once you know your customer, and do it right. Do it iteratively. Do a small test, get some data, get some feedback, and pivot based on the results. Don't go on a multi-year build. Don't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in e-commerce. And then the last thing I always recommend is don't just follow the herd, right? You do need to set yourself apart. Don't just say, my neighbor down the street got onto Shopify and he's making $10,000 a day, so I'm going to get onto Shopify and I'm going to make $10,000 a day. It doesn't work that way. You have to do something that's different. You have to break through. You can't just list your products on Amazon for sale and expect magic. There's a art and a science to this, and we're happy to have a conversation with anyone that's interested in sort of the knowledge and expertise to make that difference, because it trust me, it would make a big difference in the business growth and trajectory of where you're going. So with that, we'll turn it over to questions and answers. I think we'll take everyone off mute. And if there are questions, Stephen and I are happy to engage with you on them.
Absolutely. Questions, comments, feedback, any advice you might seek. Any kind of conversation you'd like, we're always glad to explore how we can be of service to you and what your challenges are.
Do you have some examples of how CPA firm or business attorney would pivot digitally in a time like this?
Well, the first is to recognize that a lot of people will be looking for the opportunity to work from home on those kinds of things. So putting yourself front and center and letting the world know that you can do that and will do that is very helpful. And I know that Manish is going to talk about differentiate yourself so that you're not just another attorney or CPA out there saying, hi, call us, we can work with you online. But I actually believe from the conversations that we've been having with attorneys and CPAs that there will be a very substantial shift to being able to do that. Customers, clients are going to want to be able to do that more and more. And just like with Amy, I think part of the opportunity is to rethink, but also to widen your funnel to more opportunities, so that if in fact people are afraid to work out, online, as Amy said, or aren't really comfortable with doing their CPA because their information, their lawyer, their information is so needs to be secure, that you have to provide that security and sense of safety, number one, but also you have you'll have more customers as potential, and then therefore your funnel will be more full. But Manish will tell you more about how to do that.
Yeah, I think there's two parts to if I were a CPA or a law firm. There's the part around attracting new business, and that in a way is no different than it was prior to COVID, but in a way it's accelerated, meaning you should have the representative right social media profiles. We were actually, Robin and our VP of marketing and I were on a flight probably in January out to California, and there's a group of attorneys that were going out to a conference, and attorneys, CPA firms, they haven't figured out how to reach new audiences through social media, through LinkedIn, especially, there's not really a great presence of people who are using those channels to reach new audiences. So if you're looking to reach new audiences, if you're looking to advance, we see a lot of digital only CPA firms that are working out of their home. They're working with high-tech startups or solopreneurs or small consulting groups. The other thing that we've noticed, obviously, with increases in unemployment, for example, we work with a lot of high-tech people that were displaced from Magic Leap, who had a pretty large layoff in the Miami area. A lot of them are starting their own LLCs, and they're going to need great CPA firms, great law firms, because they're starting small businesses of their own. And we saw this during the 08 and 09 recession, where a lot of small businesses were formed out of need in the recession. So I think from a customer acquisition standpoint, think through the profile of being a trusted authority on LinkedIn. If you're a CPA firm specializing in attracting new businesses, or if you're a law firm specialized in a certain area, be the trusted authority on LinkedIn. Be the trusted authority in blog content and other aspects of the digital realm. The other thing we've seen a lot of, and it's a little bit not thought about, but it's a chance for you to retool and increase your efficiencies. So we know that paralegals and clerks are not at full capacity. Courts have been idle a little bit, and the court system is reacting. Litigation is down. So this is an opportunity for you to bring new software and efficiencies into the back office. So when people do go back to full capacity, when people are, and the system kind of corrects itself, you may have put in a new file sharing system that's digital and secure. You may have put in a new operating system for your business where you're able to more effectively track hours and bill at a more efficient rate. So from a back office standpoint, efficiencies are pretty important to think about as well, not just about attracting new business.
We have another question. What steps can a small business owner do to get to the CEO or decision maker?
Well, that's the million-dollar question for all of us. So one of the things to do is, the classic, do some real good hunting, go on LinkedIn, find out all you can about the company, all you can about the people at the company, see who you might know in common to reach out to them. People will teach you who they are and what's important to them if you just pay attention to the words they use, the language that they use, and give that back to them. So the more you can really create that connection of their vision, their values that almost always show up on their websites or on their profiles, and then it's always about networking. It's also what we would do is if we saw someone that we really wanted to go meet with, we would look at what they're doing and put together some thought leadership and send that thought leadership to the C-suite, to the CEO. And if you can find out if they're working in the physical world or their home address, there's still something very powerful about getting a Federal Express with your name on it that has something that gets their attention. Sometimes the future is also a little bit about looking backwards. And as an example, today I saw an ad for an app now that you can take your pictures and electronically turn them into postcards and send those postcards to, I'm sure it's not a new app, but it's newly advertised because people have time to play in their photo, cleaning out their photos. So something that makes it personal and direct and meaningful and that is delivered differently so that you get the attention. That would be my answer. Manish?
I think the network is the biggest thing. We're big believers in the power of the network. What you've got to do is really think through what problem do they have and what is the conviction that you're bringing to solve their problem. But I'm a CEO, Steven's a CEO. We we're the same as everyone else. We put our pants on just like everyone else does. We have people we talk to in our networks just like everyone else does. And we ask for advice from our peers and people in our space, and we're looking for information as well, right? We don't have all the solutions to all of life's problems or anything like that. So if you're able to solve a problem for somebody and you're there on a timely basis, but the biggest thing is CEOs are some of the greatest networkers in the world. They have strong networks of people they communicate with. Figure out who they're connected with, that you might be able to be connected with, and if you present a compelling case, you can usually kind of find a network that will get you into that CEO.
Having listened to you, Manish, I'd add one other part. Whatever vertical they're in, whatever industry they are in, learn that industry and learn where the people in that industry go. If you're looking at a manufacturer, go to the manufacturing association. If you're looking to get to the CEO of a healthcare company, go to the healthcare with organizations where they may be involved and engaged, and learn what's going on locally where they may be involved, see if they are involved. There's all kinds of opportunities to create the connections, the networking that Manish is addressing.